Welcome back to TV5 News at 9. It is Friday. You know what that means? We are back with another edition of our favorite segment, Ask the Sheriff, the law enforcement rock star, the man himself. Genesee County Sheriff Chris Swanson is joining us this morning. Sheriff Swanson, happy Friday. How are you?
I'm great. I love the show. Thank you so much for having me back. I'm going to extend my contract for another month.
Of course. You can do it for another year, 2 years. We love you. Sheriff,
right on.
I love it. So, Sheriff, today we're talking about the National Sheriff's Association annual conference. Now, you just attended this not too long ago. You're still pumped up about this. Tell us about this event.
So I think it's important to know, wherever you're watching, you have a sheriff that oversees the community. And the sheriffs are the people's guardian. We take care of people. We protect, serve, and unify. And there's an association in Michigan called the Michigan Sheriff Association, which represents all 83 sheriffs in the state. But then there's a national association called the National Sheriff Association. It represents, ready for this, 3,080 sheriffs across the country. And we were obviously not able to meet last year. So this is the first in-person meeting, and it was in Phoenix, Arizona, and it was unbelievable. Not only was I already there, but I actually spoke twice at the conference on 2 different breakouts, which I got to tell you about those. They were awesome.
Well, we want to know. What did you talk about, Sheriff? Come on,
okay, great.
Know.
That was a little teaser to see if you're going to pick up on it.
Just a little subtle hint.
I flew one on I just do a little TV reverse on you, right?
How
about that? I flew one on Monday morning, and Monday afternoon I was speaking to a panel of jail reformers across the country. And Sheriff Morgan, who was a sheriff in Virginia, he was a 4-time elected sheriff, and he's extremely passionate about social justice. And he heard about Ignite, our inmate growth naturally and intentionally through education program that we launched last year.
Yeah.
And he saw what the stats are. So I was able to speak to people virtually and in person about what we're doing when it comes to educating people while they're incarcerated so they never come back. And we've got the data to do it, and it was just beautiful. Then the next day, on Tuesday, I spoke about race relations in America.
Yes.
And next to me was Alice Johnson. She did 21 years in prison for a nonviolent drug charge.
Wow. No
criminal history. She got life plus 20 in her original sentence. And she was able to get her sentence, reduced and actually pardoned by the president. And she now is an advocate for people that are first-time nonviolent offenders that were given life sentences. Yeah. And when you think about that, I mean, I'm a lot different than you were 20 years ago. And imagine doing a life sentence for a nonviolent crime, and you're paying your entire life for. So she was there speaking with me, and we spoke for an hour about some really, really hardcore topics that we need to be in front of and continue the conversation and take action. And I know in another segment we're going to talk about what happened after that, which is huge for the community. But that's why I was there, to not only learn, build relationships, but also take what we're doing in mid-Michigan and show the nation.
But, Sheriff, I have to ask you about the panel on race relations, because with everything going on in the country right now, that must have been so impactful for you. And I know you're one of those. You've gotten with the people in Flint. You've marched and protested with your community all throughout Flint. And you're just you're a man that doesn't just talk the talk, you walk the walk. So tell me a little bit about how that was for you personally to deal with that panel.
So grab me that plaque real quick. I always think about, history is the greatest teacher for the future. And so when I go there and I represent not just Genesee County, but I represent mid-Michigan, I represent Michigan, I represent sheriffs. It's important, like you just said, not just to talk about what this looks like. What does police evolution look like? What is building race relations? And race is just not black and white. It's people that are also Latino community, people at different faiths, people that come from different areas, people that live different. I mean, there's a lot of things that we need to together accept the differences, but also unify. And when you look at what happened last year, it was highlighted because it was a race issue. Yes. It was a law enforcement community issue. So you confront it by saying, okay, how do we fix this? Where are the flaws on either side? How do we join together? And what we have found is that's why programs like Ignite work. That's why programs like Ghost works. That's why doing these conversations and you using your powerful platform at Channel 5 to give a different message out.
That's right.
Because there's no end date. There's no time that we thought, all right, this is it, we're done. So when I go there, I think of those times that I made promises and people have recognized it. And I bring this right here. I didn't even know where to talk about it. I was going to do it in another section, but this is a Peacemaker of the Year award that I was given back in October of 2020, and it was given from our Indian American population. And they recognized, based on what Gandhi did, to unite countries without a single shot fired. I think of these moments, and I only bring that up because there's a great burden when people say things and they promise things, especially in positions of leadership, that you better deliver. Because if you don't, then you start to erode the trust that others are trying to build with leaders. And I don't want to be that guy. And so when I go to those places in Phoenix, or I go to those places here in Michigan, or soon to be in Minneapolis, I bring forth the message of the people of mid-Michigan and those that recognize that on that day, that peacemaking is what made the difference in their life. So continue to do that. You know, there's a time to protect and bear the sword. I've said it. There's a time to serve and give back, but there's a time to unify, and that's what we're doing. So that's what keeps me excited.
I love it. Congratulations, Sheriff, on that. That is amazing. And you know what? We see that in you, your passion, and you are a unifier, and you're also a peacemaker. So we love that. You're right in our community. We claim you. You know that. Anything else about this conference that you want to tell us about, that you just really made a difference in your life and in the community and as a sheriff?
Well, I'll keep it light, and I'll end with this, that Phoenix in June is beautiful. I love heat. It was 110 degrees, and I was out running. I was enjoying it, and during the breaks, when I would just walk out and you'd be hit with that heat, it is a beautiful place. For anybody who's got Phoenix family or anybody, it is a beautiful town. I was there a couple times, but not like it was. It was a great 3-day turn and burn vacation / educational time and speaking time. So just know that we're out there. Other sheriffs are there that represent Michigan. I just happen to be there, and I'm so glad we're able to talk about it. So I'll keep you informed as things continue to go on. In fact, in our next section, what happened there, that's a really cool thing.
Love it. And we know that you are there for us. Sheriff, okay, it's time to get to know the man behind the badge. Are you ready?
I'm ready. Let's go.
Okay, so if you were not Sheriff of Genesee County, what would your other dream job be?
Well, it's not just necessarily a dream job, but I'd be a server. I used to work at restaurants before I was in police work, and then while I still was in the early stages of my career, I worked at Chi-Chi's, Holiday Inn, Coney Island. I love serving tables. I love mixing drinks and having fun with people, and I was really good. I never wrote down my orders. I always memorized them. I took and made it a fun experience. So I'd probably work in Disney World at one of their major restaurants and make about $10,000 a week.
Oh my gosh, you amaze me all the time. You would get a ton of tips, Sheriff. I just have to tell you that. A ton of tips.
Appreciate it.
Thank you so much again, Sheriff, for taking time from fighting crime to be with all of us today. Have an awesome Friday.
Thank you, everybody. Be safe.
You as well. Now it's your turn. If you have a burning question for the Sheriff, send it to WNEM at WNEM.com or send it to our social media.